Welcome to the Teaching Corner. Today we're going to be talking about the mnemonic C.O.P.S. C.O.P.S is an editing mnemonic that you can use to help your students edit their own writing. As a teacher, we tell students over and over and over again that a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a period. By teaching your students this strategy, they'll be able to check their writing on their own. I know for myself, when I use this one-on-one in tutoring sessions, all I have to do is, if I notice a mistake in my students' writing, all I have to say is C.O.P.S, and they'll immediately write it on their paper and put little check marks above it as they check their own writing and catch their own mistakes. So what does C.O.P.S stand for? Well, C.O.P.S stands for capitalization, organization, punctuation, and spelling. The beauty of this is that you can customize it to your class, your situation, and your students. For example, capitalization. Of course, we tell our students a sentence starts with a capital letter. But if you're working on the pronoun I, or you're working on names of cities and states, or proper nouns, whatever you're working on in your classroom, you could have little bullet points under here that they can check off as well. Organization. Of course, does your sentence make sense? But also, does your subject and verb agree? If I have a single subject, do I have a single verb? If I have a plural subject, do I have a plural verb? If you're working with older students and you're using independent and dependent clauses, is the clause in the right place? Have I used the right punctuation so that it makes sense? Punctuation. When students are really little, I always tell them a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a period. But as you go through the different types of sentences and teach them about imperative sentences, exclamatory sentences, interrogative sentences, and declarative sentences, you teach them the various forms of punctuation. You could also talk about direct quotations, or if you are combining sentences using a comma and a fanboy, or using a semicolon. And then finally, spelling. Spelling seems pretty obvious, but if you're in a younger classroom and you're doing a spelling story with their spelling words, you might have a thing for them to check that their spelling words in their sentences are accurate. Or you might be working with kids on homophones, words that sound the same but are spelled differently and have different meanings, such as there, and there. Are we talking about the location? Are we talking about a possessive pronoun, or are we talking about the contraction they are? So using C.O.P.S helps your students be able to edit their own work, and you can do this whole class, or you can do it in a tutoring session. If you do it whole class, of course, you may have a checklist for the students, and then if it's one-on-one, you might just have them write C.O.P.S on their paper with the little check marks. I hope this helps. If it did, please like, subscribe, and share it with others, and I'll see you later.